It's time again for Northwestern Outdoors Radio, the show covering fishing, hunting, and all sorts of outdoor recreation and destinations right here in the region you live and play in. Northwestern Outdoors is brought to you every week by Max Lure Company, makers of the world-famous wedding ring spinner, by Loophole, America's Optics Authority, and by Sportsman's Warehouse, America's premier outfitter. Northwestern Outdoors is also sponsored by Wallowa County in Northeast Oregon, where you'll find both nature and fun. By Chad's Coastwide Sports Fishing, offering you the affordable Canadian fishing trip of a lifetime. And by Camp Chef, the way to cook outdoors. So grab your fishing rod or hunting gear, load up the boat or lace up your boots, and let's head outdoors with your host, John Cruz.
It's been an interesting few weeks in the Northwest, especially in regards to wildlife. Wolves have been in the news, especially in northeastern Oregon's Wallowa County, where 4 wolves from the Amnaha pack, to include the alpha male and females of this pack, were killed by state officials after a string of 5 livestock attacks in less than a month's time. These attacks occurred despite ranchers and wildlife biologists taking every conceivable step that could be taken to stop these wolves short of killing them. Despite the removal of these 4 wolves from the gene pool, populations of these animals continues to remain healthy across the Northwest, something we'll go into more detail about during this broadcast. Another animal story we have this week is the troubling appearance of white nose syndrome in a brown bat in western Washington. This is the first time this disease, which has wiped out millions of bats further east, has appeared west of the Rockies and does not bode well for bat populations in the Northwest. Why do you care about bats? Well, let's put it this way. If you don't like bugs, you ought to like bats, because bats eat a lot of bugs and make life a little more pleasant, or at least a little less buggy for you and me. As intriguing as the news is this week, we've got some great interviews to share with you too. We'll start off by talking with David Tatum, the director of American Marksman. This combines a firearms competition, reality TV, and a chance to win $50,000. Better still, just about anyone who's listening today can participate. That's right. If you can shoot a .22 rifle or a handgun and you're not a professional shooter, you can head down to a participating gun range here in the Northwest, plop down $20, and see how you measure up against the competition. If you do well, you'll go to a regional competition, and if you win that, you'll not only participate in the national competition for $50,000, but you'll also be on television. Wow, sounds like a novel way to earn your 15 minutes of fame, and maybe a whole lot more. We'll go from guns to rods and reels when we talk to guide Jordan Osborne about mid-April walleye fishing on the Columbia River during an extended Max Minute. And then we'll head to Southwest Washington and chat with Jason Baker about the Fat Tire Ride and Festival. It's coming up in June. And we'll also tell you about the Willapa Hills Trail where this is taking place. This is a 56-mile-long rail trail extending from Chehalis to South Bend that bicyclists, hikers, and wildlife watchers are going to love. Throw in some can't-miss upcoming events, a call for volunteers in North Central Washington from the Mule Deer Foundation, and our Sportsman's Warehouse Trivia Question of the Week. And once again, we've got a full hour of outdoor news, fun, and recreation coming your way. But first, David Sparks shares news about some serious trouble Tradewinds charters operating out of Depot Bay, Oregon, has found themselves in. David Sparks is the host of Sportsman Spotlight, sponsored on this network by Chad's Coastwide Sports Fishing. Find out more about the affordable, all-inclusive saltwater fishing adventures they offer on Vancouver Island by going to coastwidesportsfishing.com.
Something absolutely crazy here on Sportsman Spotlight, David Sparks. Some time ago, I was at a sportsman's trade show and ran into a very nice young lady. We ended up doing a story on the deep-sea fishing charter operation that she represented, which was out of Depot Bay, Oregon. The name of the business was Tradewinds Charter Incorporated. Later on, I called her up and recorded her, and here's part of the phone call that I made.
I do recommend that you start out with a bottom fishing trip, especially with children. It's just a good trip for, beginners to learn how to fish out in the ocean.
And why would that be?
Well, first of all, it's light tackle, and the fish that you're catching, they're not hard to get on the boats. And you can catch a variety of different fish. And the fishing's usually always very good for bottom fishing.
Well, doesn't all of that just sound perfect? Then I picked up the paper the other day and read this. Timothy Harmon, 67, Julie Harmon, 52, and their 24-year-old daughter, Eva Harmon, pleaded guilty to a violation of a wildlife law, and their business, Tradewinds Charter Incorporated, pleaded guilty to racketeering in Oregon. They're accused of selling almost 2,700 fishing licenses for $16.75 each and keeping the money instead of purchasing the licenses from the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife. They've been ordered to pay restitution of over $125,000. Nothing was written about any damage being done to their clients, and I'm sure glad of that. Man, you just never know. This is David Sparks for Sportsman Spotlight.
A quality and affordable fishing adventure is waiting for you off Vancouver Island with Chad's Coastwide Sports Fishing. Located in Port Hardy, British Columbia, you can drive or fly to your all-inclusive guided fishing vacation. Whether you're after big salmon, heart-fighting halibut, or a cooler full of red snapper and lingcod, you can catch it all here. Better yet, your lodging, meals, and fish processing are all taken care of. Want one more reason to go? The price. With the Canadian dollar exchange rate where it is right now, your U.S. dollar goes further. Space is limited, so go to coastwidesportsfishing.com to book your trip. That's coastwidesportsfishing.com for an incredible BC fishing adventure.
It doesn't matter what sort of adventure you're after. Whether it's big game deep in the backcountry, a day of fishing out on the water, or an overnight in the great outdoors. At Sportsman's Warehouse, we've got the gear in here for what you need out there. Gear up for your next adventure at one of the Sportsman's Warehouse stores or shop online. Sportsman's Warehouse, America's premier outfitter.
Welcome back to Northwestern Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz. We've got a real treat for you. We're talking to Brian Tatum. He's the director of American Marksman. An incredible opportunity for any of you listening out there to spend as little as $20 and potentially win $50,000 and be on television too. Brian, welcome to the show.
Thank you, John. Thanks for having me today.
Tell our listeners a little bit more about how American Marksman works.
Yeah, absolutely. American Marksman is a national series of target shooting events, all for amateur shooters here, no professionals. As a matter of fact, one of our big marketing taglines is no pros, just Joes. We're emphasizing the amateur shooter here. It's on a national level, and it's on 3 different levels of qualification. You start at a local level, and there's 209 ranges as of this morning around the country that are hosting the local qualifying level. You shoot 22 rimfire at that particular step, and you're trying to qualify to move on to one of our regional championships, which take place in the summertime, where you would go and compete against folks from 4 or 5 different surrounding states, and you really get a sense of kind of how you stack up against folks from around your area. Then ultimately, the shooters are trying to advance to a national championship, where we'll have roughly the top 36 to 40 shooters from the regionals will be invited down, and we're going to produce a pretty cool TV show about that. So that's the really unique part of this, is not only is this a national tour for amateurs to participate, but we're going to film it and turn it into a bit of a reality show and show some of the interesting characters that are participating, some of the venues that are helping us out, and really trying to just, do something that's never been done in the shooting sports space before. And the big thing at the end, too, is the person that stands alone as the American Marksman at the very end after Nationals is going to take home a $50,000 cash prize. So
wow.
It's really cool from the standpoint of, hey, we're providing amateurs with the platform to compete nationally, which really hasn't been done too much before. And then we're also rolling in a television show. And by the way, the winner's going to get $50,000. So it's a pretty unique concept.
I love it. I absolutely love it. So I like the fact that it's for amateurs. So folks, if you're out there and you're sponsored by a company, or if you're making money from shooting, you don't get to play on this. This is for everybody who just likes to go out and shoot, either target shooting or otherwise, and thinks that they're a pretty good shot. This is for you. Let's talk about the categories. There's 4 different categories that folks are going to fall into who compete in American Marksman.
That's right. 4 categories of competition. There's a men's open, women's open, juniors, which is 12 to 16 years old, and then military law enforcement. And the point of having different divisions is not only did we want to provide, like we said, amateurs with the chance to compete, we wanted those amateur shooters to feel comfortable, again, with who they were competing against. It's not necessarily fun for perhaps, say, a kid who's just getting into the shooting sports to step up the line and compete against a gentleman who's been around for several years and is more of a seasoned shooter. So that was the point of dividing it up into different divisions. We really want to give people a comfort level with being able to compete against folks that are just like them.
I think it's a great idea, and I think you're right. Having the 4 separate tents is going to get more people, I think, involved into this program. Let's talk about the firearms. The .22 long rifle in either handgun or rifle. Why that caliber?
That's correct, and I'll explain this a little bit more in depth, too. That's just at the local level. The first step is all .22 rimfire ammunition. When you register, you select either handgun, rifle, or both. The handgun and rifle options are only $20 a piece to try and qualify, or you can select both gun types for $35 and get a little $5 discount for doing both. The reason behind doing .22 at the local level was to really make it a very friendly, non-intimidating, low barrier to entry to get more people to step out from the ranges, right? Step out from doing their dry fire exercises in the backyard and actually try and compete. It's super low cost. At only $20 to start, you're really, if you register and go to the range and maybe don't do so well that day, it's only $20, right? And we wanted to make it a really, like I said, a low barrier to entry to attract more people in to try it out. We want this to be friendly. We want it to be cost effective. We want it to be non-intimidating. And that was the idea of the .22. Now, as you move on to the regional championships, those who advance will be tasked with shooting a few more varied firearm types and ammunition types. At the regional championships, you'll shoot the .22s again, but we're also going to throw in a couple of 9mm stages, a shotgun stage, and a long-range precision rifle stage. And by the way, at the regional championships, we provide all the firearms and the ammunition. The person just has to show up.
Okay. You're listening to Northwestern Outdoors Radio. We're talking to Brian Tatum. He's a director of American Marksman. It's a competition that starts at the local level and works its way up to a national shooting competition. You can win up to $50,000, and you can also be on television on American Marksman. Let's go ahead and talk about something else here. I like to shoot. I like to go to the range, but some days I frankly shoot better than others. Let's say I plunk down my $20 and I don't have a good day at the range. Can I go ahead and shoot again?
We all have good and bad days, don't we? And not only at the range, but sometimes just you wake up, you go into the office, maybe you just don't feel right that day. In real life, you don't get to push reset and do it again, right? But with American Marksman, you do. You can try to, you can attempt to qualify at that local level at the first step as many times as you want to try. So if you sign up, you pay your $20, you get your confirmation code, head into the range. If you don't shoot that well that day for whatever reason, you can go back onto the website right there on your phone, by the way, pull up that account you created the first time you signed up with us, and you can sign up to do it again.
Love it.
That is that's an unlimited proposition. You can do that as many times as you want during the local qualifying level. And by the way, local qualifying is going on now, and it goes on until the end of May.
Okay, and that was my next question, is how long it goes on. And here in the Northwest, we cover 4 states, Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana. Where, or I should say, what ranges can people go to participate?
Absolutely. Instead of boring your listeners to tears and naming off every single range in those 4 states, I'll give them the place to go to find them. Go to the website at ammarksman.com and click on the participating range link at the top of the page. Then there's a drop-down menu that's sorted by state. You can pick your state and see all the ranges that are serving as local qualifiers in your state. I will tell you, in the state of Washington, we have 5 local qualifying ranges. The state of Oregon has 4. The state of Idaho actually has 6. And Montana has a couple as well.
So I got to ask you, I'm going to interrupt you real quick, Brian. So is it only certain days and certain times at these ranges you can participate, or can you walk to any of these ranges anytime they're open and go ahead and compete in American Marksman?
That's a great point. You're reading my mail. That was the next thing I was going to talk about. So each range has committed to a certain schedule of days and times each week where they're offering the American Marksman local qualifying contest. We have shipped everything to them that they need. Everything is there for the shooter. They've just got to show up. So let's say, for instance, we'll take one in Seattle here. The Bellevue Gun Club in Bellevue is one of our local qualifying hosts. So if someone in that area goes onto the website, again, ammarksman.com, registers, pays their $20, gets their confirmation code, and they select Bellevue Gun Club, their confirmation email is going to tell them what days and times that Bellevue Gun Club is offering the contest. So then you just simply go to the club on one of those days and times, and they'll have everything there waiting for you. So it's not necessarily an everyday sort of 24/7 proposition. You do need to pay attention to the days and times that the range that you've selected is offering the contest. But that's one of the beautiful things about this program. If there's a range really close to you, but you look at their days and times and it just doesn't match your schedule, you can go to the next range out and see what their days and times are. You're not restricted to, going to a range that's a certain radius around, from where you live.
Brian, we are running short on time, but folks, I want to direct you all to the website again to find out more. It's ammarksman.com, ammarksman.com. Last question for you. This is going to be on the Outdoor and Sportsman's channel. When is it going to be on TV?
Yeah, great point. We're going to be on both networks, Outdoor and Sportsman, and we are scheduled to start in Q4 of this year. So more than likely sometime around the November-December timeframe. So we take all the footage, through local qualifying and regionals through the summertime. It goes back to the lab and gets all processed and ready for TV, and we'll show in the Q4.
All right, we have got to go. But again, folks, American Marksman, that's the competition. That's the reality show. Get on down to one of these ranges and compete. Sounds like a lot of fun. Brian, thanks for telling us all about this on Northwestern Outdoors Radio.
John, I appreciate you having me. And, hey, who knows, maybe someone from your listening area will take that $50,000 and be the American Marksman.
At Leupold Optics, they guarantee performance. Those other optics companies, they just warranty failure. That's why every Leupold product has a lifetime guarantee. Think of it as a warranty you'll never need to cash in on. Find out more at leupold.com.
You're back with more of the great outdoors on Northwestern Outdoors Radio with John Cruz.
It's time for another Max Minute.
Fish on!
Brought to you every week by Max Lure Company. This week, we're talking to Max Pro Guide Jordan Osborne with Upper Columbia Guide Service. Jordan, it's mid-April, and I've got to ask, is it too late to go after those trophy walleye on the Columbia River?
Definitely not too late.
All right. Tell me more, because I always thought of this as like a March fishery, maybe even a February fishery. You're saying that there's still a chance to break that Oregon State, Washington State record of 20-plus pounds?
Absolutely there is. March is obviously the peak when everybody is popular at targeting it, but April can be phenomenal as well.
All right, so if somebody wants to target these really big walleye, what stretch of the Columbia River should they be fishing in April?
Your best bet would be in the Tri-Cities and the Umatilla area.
All right, next question. How do you do it?
I like to troll. Obviously, bottom bouncers are a great way to downstream troll them. Max Lure Wally Pop is a great lure just because of its bigger profile, and it has a nice action to it as well.
Now, the Wally Pop, because of its design, it almost has kind of like a float on it. It tends to stay up a little bit more in the water column, doesn't it?
Correct, yes.
And are you tipping this with a night crawler?
Absolutely.
Anything else that people should know if they're going to go after that monster walleye from mid to late April?
Be patient. Put in your time.
There you go. That's Jordan Osborne with Upper Columbia Guide Service. If you want to book a trip with him and maybe get a chance at a really big walleye, go ahead and go to their website at uppercolumbiaguide.com. That's uppercolumbiaguide.com. That wraps up another Max Minute, brought to you every week by Max Lure Company.
That's the sound you hear when a fish hits the new Sonic bait fish from Max Lure Company. This metal lure can be cast, trolled, or jigged and will catch just about anything that swims in the sea, the river, or the lake. The Sonic bait fish has a unique vibration and flutter that can be rigged in 7 different ways. With all sorts of eye-catching colors and weights available, you'll be reaching for the Sonic bait fish as your go-to lure. It's the Sonic bait fish. And that's another fish on, only from Max Lure Company.
A quality and affordable fishing adventure is waiting for you off Vancouver Island with Chad's Coast-Wide Sports Fishing. Located in Port Hardy, British Columbia, you can drive or fly to your all-inclusive guided fishing vacation. Whether you're after big salmon, heart-fighting halibut, or a cooler full of red snapper and lingcod, you can catch it all here. Better yet, your lodging, meals, and fish processing are all taken care of. Want one more reason to go? The price. With the Canadian dollar exchange rate where it is right now, your U.S. dollar goes further. Space is limited, so go to coastwidesportsfishing.com to book your trip. That's coastwidesportsfishing.com for an incredible BC fishing adventure.
Want to earn a serious reward? You can, and all you need is a fishing rod. There's money to be made catching northern pike minnow. There's too many of them in the Columbia and Snake Rivers, and we'll pay you cash to catch them. Pike minnow eat our salmon and steelhead, and that's not good. The season starts May 1st, runs through September, and the more fish you catch, the more you earn. How much money can you make from this program? Well, last year, one angler earned a cool $100,000. Find out more at pikeminnow.org. That's pikeminnow.org. Go ahead, collect your reward. Welcome back to Northwestern Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz. We're talking with Jason Baker. He is a board member with Lewis County Community Trails. And I understand there's an event coming up in June called the Willapa Hills Fat Tire Ride and Festival. Jason, welcome to the show. Tell us more about this event.
Thanks, John. The festival is a culmination of a project that's been going on with our group, state parks, and a bunch of other people that are involved. In June, the 25th and 26th, we're holding the festival, and it'll give people an opportunity to get out on the trail and enjoy the Willapa Hills Trail after a bunch of the trestles have been redone or replaced. And it's just going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of activities for families, a farm-to-tour that's going to be part of it. There's going to be steam train rides that are going to be close by as well, because the trail crosses the steam train route, and there's just going to be a lot of good stuff associated with the ride, because you start in Chehalis, and then you ride the trail out to PL, where you'll stay the night, and then the next day you come back on the trail.
So let's go ahead and orient people a little bit further. Again, Lewis County in this area, it's southwest Washington, and PL is a tiny little town, less than 1,000 people. What's going to be taking place there? That people are going to basically ride 23 miles from Centralia, Chehalis over to PL on this Rail to Trails bike trail. And what happens once they're in PL?
Well, there'll be some stuff going on in PL. They're working on having all kinds of activities for people, and they'll get to, there'll be activities like there'll be some horseshoe pits, there'll be some music around town, there'll be businesses that'll be open, and the town of PL is just going to host everybody and try and just have a lot of fun for everybody.
So folks need to bring tents and sleeping bags if they're going to stay overnight, and then the next day they ride back to Centralia, Chehalis, correct?
Correct.
All right. Sounds like a lot of fun to me. Now, I'm not really familiar with this rail trail, the Willapa Hills Trail. I understand it's 56 miles long. It goes all the way from Chehalis to South Bend, which is right by the Pacific Ocean. Tell me more about it and the hiking and bicycling opportunities available.
Well, the Willapa Hills Trail, as it's known now, it's part of the state park system. And the trail, it used to be a rail line, that ran from Centralia, Chehalis out to the coast. Has some really interesting history, and that, they ran a train that was a mixed passenger and freight service called the South Bend Flyer.
Okay. So how long ago was this? Are we talking like 100 years ago, or, in the 1940s? How long ago?
Well, the rail line was in the South Bend was settled in the 1860s, so it was like 1898. And it was a Northern Pacific branch. And the rail, they ran passenger and freight service until the last train ran in 1954.
Wow. South Bend, I'm assuming that were they basically taking shellfish out of South Bend and inland and taking lumber and timber out to South Bend for shipping?
Yeah, it was a lot of lumber that was coming out from South Bend, and it was primarily lumber and freight after they stopped passenger service in 54.
And how long has the rail system been active? How long has it actually been a trail that bikers or I should say bicyclists and hikers can use?
Well, they pulled the tracks up in the 90s, and I'm not exactly sure when it was handed over to state parks, but state parks has had it, and we got involved, and we're just working with state parks to, get it completely open for everybody to use. So right now we've got bicyclists, families that walk. A lot of people walk the trail. We've got birders that come out because there's a lot of wildlife along the trail to see as well.
Nice.
There's just a lot of great opportunity to get outside and enjoy some really great pedestrian access where there's no traffic at all.
Oh, I actually love the concept. Folks, you're listening to Northwestern Outdoors Radio. We're talking to Jason Baker. He's a board member with Lewis County Community Trails. We're talking about the Willapa Hills Fat Tire Ride and Festival taking place June 25th and 26th, and also talking about the Willapa Hills Trail, a 56-mile long rail trail in southwest Washington. So it's open to bicyclists, open to hikers. 56 miles, it's doable in a day, but I'm guessing some people are going to want to break this into two pieces. Is there any place to camp or stay, maybe halfway through the trail?
There are at either end and kind of in the middle. There's a bunch of places, like in Centralia, Chehalis, there are several hotels, but on the way out, you've got Rainbow Falls State Park if you want to do some great camping. It's actually along the trail.
Perfect.
And then towards the south, or towards the coast side, in Raymond, you've got Pitchwood Ale House and Inn, and then in South Bend, there's the 101 Public House and Inn, which is right on the waterfront.
I was looking at the websites for both these places. Haven't been to either, but highly rated. Both of them are. And just looking at the menu and the setting, they both look like fabulous places to, basically bicycle into and have a great meal and spend the night and have these great views of the water as well. So again, the Pitchwood Ale House and Inn in Raymond, the 101 Public House and Inn in South Bend, both great destinations at the end of the trail. Rainbow Falls State Park is kind of midway, and again, it's a state park. It's got camping. It's got a waterfall there, too. So, Jason, is there anything else folks ought to know about, accessing the trail at Rainbow Falls State Park or some of the other locations where they can access this 56-mile-long trail?
Well, it is part of the state park system, and as you know, with state parks now, you have to have a day pass, which is the Discover Pass, to, park in the state parks or because there are several parking areas that require a Discover Pass to access the trail. Rainbow Falls is a great place to camp, but it is first come, first serve at that particular state park.
All right, so you might want to plan ahead, maybe have a buddy of yours meet you at the park if you're bicycling in from Centralia or Chehalis, and be assured that you're going to get that spot in advance. Now, we're starting to run short of time, but I want to give folks a website so they can find out more about the Willapa Hills Fat Tire Ride and Festival. Again, it's taking place June 25th and 26th. Where should people go to find out more and to register?
That is ridethewillapa.com. And if they're interested in the ride, we do have an early bird special for registrations, too, through May 15th.
All right, so there you go. Register before May 15th, save a little bit of money, and mark your calendars for June 25th and 26th to take part in the Willapa Hills Fat Tire Ride and Festival. And if you can't make it that day, get on down there to Centralia, Chehalis, and ride that trail, the Willapa Hills Trail. It sounds like a great opportunity. If you don't have a bike, just hike part of it. Great place to go. Again, Rainbow Falls State Park, lots of other places along the way. And just go to ridethewillapa.com to find out more about the event and the trail. Jason, thanks for telling us all about this on Northwestern Outdoors Radio.
Thanks a lot, John.
The road is calling you to experience one of Oregon's 7 wonders, the Wallowas. So grab your family and spend some time exploring Northeast Oregon's Wallowa County. Visit the state park at the head of glacier-carved Wallowa Lake. Travel the Hells Canyon Scenic Byway. Feel the pioneer spirit, Nez Perce history, and see our Western arts and bronzes. Ascend to the top of Mount Howard on the tram and you'll see why Wallowa County is one of Oregon's most scenic and adventurous vacation wonders. This summer, take the road that leads to wonders. It begins at WallowaCountyChamber.com.
Need a lightweight camp stove for your next adventure? The new Striker Series stove from Camp Chef is the perfect solution. 2 models of this single-burner stove let you cook using propane or isobutane. The heat ring technology built into the stove's cookware lets you boil water in less than 2 minutes. And like everything else in the Camp Chef line, the Striker Series stove is built tough. If you hike, paddle, hunt, or fish and cook while you do it, you're going to love the Striker Series stove. Find it at your local sporting goods store or at campchef.com. Camp Chef, the way to cook outdoors.
You demand quality performance from your binoculars, whether you use them in the field, on the water, or at a stadium. But you don't want to spend a fortune. That's where the BX McKenzie binoculars from Leupold come in. These armored, waterproof binoculars are both comfortable and dependable. Look for your McKenzie binoculars at quality sporting goods retailers near you, to include your Cabela's, Sportsman's Warehouse, or Northwest Bi-Mart stores. BX McKenzie, bringing your world into sharper focus, only from Leupold.
Back with Northwestern Outdoors Radio. It's time for news and reports from the field, and we start off with news about wolves. Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife officials killed 4 wolves in Wallowa County on March 31st after the animals killed livestock in 5 separate attacks between March 9th and the 30th. 2 of the wolves killed, OR4 and OR39, were respectively the alpha male and female of the Imnaha pack that roams this area. This was a last resort. ODFW and ranchers had tried to use non-lethal means and included the use of a range rider to patrol the area and 3 livestock protection dogs that were with the sheep 24 hours a day. Even environmental groups like Cascadia Wildlands, which is very much a pro-wolf organization, had a muted reply to this action, stating in a press release they didn't support the use of taxpayer money to kill wolves on behalf of private interests, but agreed that the situation in Wallowa County with these wolves was quote-unquote escalating, and that state officials had, again quoting, meaningfully deliberated over this decision. This is the 3rd time wolves have been killed due to livestock predation since wolves returned to Oregon in the early 2000s. Even with the loss of these wolves, there are still 110 documented wolves in the state, a 36% increase from 2014. Wolf numbers are also healthy in Idaho, where state game biologists documented 108 wolf packs at the end of 2015 with an estimated 786 wolves. This is similar to what was found in 2014 and does not include numbers from an additional 20 wolf packs in Montana, Wyoming, and Washington that have territories overlapping Idaho. Wolf harvest by hunters and trappers in Idaho was unchanged from 2014 to 2015. Hunters and trappers harvested 256 wolves last year. 54 wolves were killed in response to depredations on livestock, and 21 were taken to reduce predation on big game populations. Livestock killings have trended downward since wolf hunting began in 2011 in Idaho. The U.S. Department of Agriculture confirmed 35 cattle, 125 sheep, 3 dogs, and 1 horse were killed by wolves last year, and another 9 cattle and 9 sheep were classified as probable wolf kills. Turning our attention from wolves to bats, the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife confirms white nose syndrome, a devastating disease that has killed more than 6 million beneficial insect-eating bats in North America over the last decade, has been found in a little brown bat near North Bend in the foothills of the Cascade Mountains. This is the first time this disease has been found in the Northwest and does not bode well for bat populations in our region. WDFW veterinarian Katie Harmon said the disease is transmitted primarily from bat to bat, although people can carry spores on their clothing, shoes, or caving gear who have been in caves where bats have been exposed to this fungal disease. WDFW advises against handling animals that appear sick or are found dead. If you find dead bats or notice bats exhibiting unusual behavior, such as flying outside during the day or during freezing weather, please report your observations to the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife online or by telephone. You can learn more about this disease and access the most updated decontamination protocols and cave access advisories by going to whitenosesyndrome.org. That's whitenosesyndrome.org. Next up on Northwestern Outdoors Radio, turkey hunting season is here this month, and we've got something that might just help you bag a gobbler. We're talking to Chris Fortrack. He's the owner of Fortrack Hunting Adventures out of Colville, Washington, and he has got something really unique to share with us today. Chris, the turkey fan. On the surface, it looks like an umbrella, and it also looks like a turkey. Tell us more about this.
Well, what this was designed for is getting close to your turkeys. You know, you got turkeys about 300 yards away. You got your decoy spread. Nothing's happening. You know those birds are looking at you. You know that they hear you, but nothing's working. So what you do is you pop this turkey fan out, and it functions just like an umbrella. It's kind of hard for the people that are listening to actually see what's going on because they got to hear it. But what it is, it opens just like an umbrella. If you can open an umbrella, you could open the fan. And what this does is it gives life to your decoy. You just open it up slowly, and what it does is it represents a Tom Stretton. And what you could also do is use this as a blind to walk toward the turkeys. I mean, we've had birds 200 yards out, open this fan, we just keep calling, and then we just get low and we walk toward these birds. 9 out of 10 times those birds are going to turn and come to you, and you meet them halfway. It's a blast, man.
Well, literally a blast. So the way this is constructed, again, pretty durable. Looks like it's vinyl construction. You basically have a painting of a male turkey that's on the front, and you've got a little mesh area that you can see through. You've even got a little hole that you could put your shotgun through.
Well, it's not actually a hole for your shotgun. What it is, you see these bands here, you're actually able to put your smartphone. Who doesn't have a smartphone anymore, you know, or these days? So you're able to put your smartphone in here, hit record, and record what's going on.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So again, so you get the smartphone recording what's going on. You're looking through the mesh. You're down low. For all the world, that turkey out there thinks you're another turkey. You just start moving towards it, and like you said, meets you halfway, and then you just rise up with a shotgun, rise up with the bow, and you take care of business.
Right in the beak.
How many times have you used this with success in your line of work?
We've put 19 clients on this last year, and we killed 19 birds.
Absolutely amazing. Okay, so turkeyfan.com, is that the place people should go ahead and purchase one of these?
Yeah, they could do that. It's $119.99 online, and I believe that Dick's and Sportsman's Warehouse is going to be having these shortly, like very soon.
All right. Well, folks, this looks like it could be a real game changer. So if you are interested in getting closer to those gobblers this spring, might want to check out the Turkey Fan. Again, the website, turkeyfan.com, and it's going to be coming to sporting goods stores near you in a hurry. Also, let's go ahead and give out your website for Fortrack Hunting Adventures as well.
You want to jump online, fortrackhunting.com. We also, if you go to the Trusted Link tab, you could get to Turkey Fan from there as well.
That's Chris Fortrack with Fortrack Hunting Adventures. Check out his website, fortrackhunting.com. And again, check out the Turkey Fan at turkeyfan.com. Chris, thanks for telling us all about this on Northwestern Outdoors Radio.
Hey, you're welcome. It was a pleasure.
Leupold Gold Ring Optics are built to perform at the highest level, shot after shot, year after year. Our rifle scopes, binoculars, spotting scopes, rangefinders, and more always come through when you need them most. That's why our American-built products have a lifetime guarantee. Or as we like to say here at Leupold, they are guaranteed for a lifetime of performance, not a lifetime of replacement. Find out more about our top-quality gear and our lifetime guarantee at Leupold.com. Leupold, America's optics authority.
Looking for the ultimate cooking machine for your backyard or patio? Look no further than Camp Chef's new pellet grill and smoker. With user-friendly features like an auto ignition, digital readouts, and internal meat temperature sensors, it's easy to smoke the tastiest salmon, ribs, brisket, and turkey you'll ever eat. And an innovative system makes cleanup a snap. Everyone will want the food you're cooking on your Camp Chef pellet grill and smoker. The quality smoker that's second to none. Find out more at campchef.com. Camp Chef, the way to cook outdoors.
Walleye anglers all over the Northwest are raving about the new Smile Blade Spindrift Walleye Lure made by Max Lure Company. Lance Mers is with us here to tell us more about it.
This lure is fantastic. We've got the patented Smile Blade. We've got a pill float that keeps it just off of the bottom where the fish like to bite. And that Spindrift hook is absolutely phenomenal. You can tip it with any kind of bait.
Tip it with a crawler, tip it with a leech, whatever you tip it with, it's going to catch more fish. It's the Smile Blade Spindrift Walleye Lure, only from Max Lure Company.
Want to earn a serious reward? You can, and all you need is a fishing rod. There's money to be made catching northern pike minnow. We'll pay you cash to catch them. Pike minnow eat our salmon and steelhead, and that's no good. The season starts May 1st, runs through September, and the more fish you catch, the more you earn. How much money can you make from this program? Well, last year, one angler earned a cool $100,000. Find out more at pikeminnow.org. That's pikeminnow.org. Go ahead, collect your reward.
Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, a nationwide group working to keep public lands in public hands. We've helped ban the use of drones for hunting. We help repair wildlife corridors in key riparian areas. We speak up against illegal ATV use. Please join this dynamic conservation group. Check us out at backcountryhunters.org.
It doesn't matter what sort of adventure you're after. Whether it's big game deep in the backcountry, a day of fishing out in the water, or an overnight in the great outdoors. At Sportsman's Warehouse, we've got the gear in here for what you need out there. Gear up for your next adventure at one of the Sportsman's Warehouse stores or shop online. Sportsman's Warehouse, America's premier outfitter.
One more time this week for Northwestern Outdoors Radio with John Cruz.
Next up, we're talking to Rachel Voss. She is the Washington State Chairman for the Mule Deer Foundation. Rachel, I understand you're looking for some volunteers.
We are. Thank you, John, for having me. Our Wenatchee chapter has been up and running. It was long running for quite some time, but last year we were fortunate enough to have our first banquet. This year we're looking forward to having another banquet. As everybody knows, both Chelan and Douglas County were just devastated by the amount of fires that they had. And we're looking for folks who want to jump on board, help us on our committee so that we can have a very successful banquet and get some money back on the ground for the deer there in both Douglas and Chelan County.
All right. Well, sounds fantastic. The question that comes to mind right off the bat is, when is the banquet this year?
That is pending, and unfortunately that is pending right now due to we need some extra hands, we need some extra help, we need some extra folks who want to jump on board and make this happen. We're definitely looking to make this banquet happen, definitely in 2016, and planning it in between the cherry and apple harvest, as that's so important for the Wenatchee area.
All right. So if folks want to get involved, be part of the committee to plan this banquet for the Mule Deer Foundation in North Central Washington, how do they do it? How do they get involved? Who do they contact?
Well, there's a couple different contacts. They can contact one of the chairmen themselves. His name is Kurt Brown, and he can be found locally at 630-4049. That's 630-4049. They may contact myself as the Washington State Chair, and that is 509-728-3532.
All right. Give that number to contact you one more time, Rachel.
Rachel Voss, 509-728-3532.
Okay, there you go. So, folks, if you've got a little time on your hands and if you want to go ahead and just do some good work for the mule deer in North Central Washington, consider volunteering to be part of the committee to put on the banquet this summer. Rachel, thanks for telling us all about this on Northwestern Outdoors Radio.
Thank you, John, and thank you for having me. Looking forward to hopefully getting some new blood into our committee and making this happen for the deer in your area.
There you go. Another event we want to tell you about is National Parks Week. It takes place from April 16th through the 24th. That's right, it's a long week. And in celebration of the Park Service's 100-year anniversary, entrance to all national parks is free during this time. Earth Day is April 22nd, and in addition to free entry at national parks, Washington State Parks are offering free admission on that day, too. This weekend is a good weekend to visit your local Sportsman's Warehouse store. Why? Well, because all of their stores are having a spring gear sale with huge markdowns through Sunday. You'll find boots, clothing, and the things you need for spring fishing, turkey hunting, or camping. Check it out this weekend, though, because this sale ends when the stores close on Sunday. And now, it's time for your trivia question of the week from Sportsman's Warehouse. There are 3 species of turkeys found here in the Northwest. The eastern turkey is one species. The Merriam's turkey is another. But there's a third one as well, at least in 3 of our 4 northwestern states, and this one is often associated with the river that borders our nation and Mexico. What's the name of this third turkey species you may be hunting this spring? You can give us your answer on our website at northwesternoutdoors.com. Simply go to our Contact Us page or on our Facebook page at Northwestern Outdoors Radio. Just like the page, find the post, and give us your answer. Either way, you'll be entered for a chance to win if you get the answer right. What are you going to win? Well, potentially the $25 gift card we give away every week from Sportsman's Warehouse. The website again, northwesternoutdoors.com, and the Facebook page, Northwestern Outdoors Radio. While you're on the web, be sure to tune in to WRVO Radio. You'll find it at RenoViolaOutdoors.com. It's an internet station dedicated to outdoors programming 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We are part of the lineup there, proud to be there, and I think if you tune in, you'll enjoy it a lot. The website again, RenoViolaOutdoors.com. That's all for this week. Spring is definitely here. Lots of things to do outside, whether you're a hunter, whether you're an angler, a hiker, a bicyclist, or even want to get in some early spring camping. Whatever it is you want to do, just get out there and do it. So until next time, take care, God bless, and make it a point to spend some time outdoors.